But let's get started with the Rams blowing out the Patriots. A much different year for the Patriots than years past.
Yeah, this game is kind of an interesting one because I could have seen it going a couple different ways. This is definitely one of them, but then again, with the Rams, you never know which offense is going to show up. If it's going to be the dominant one or the kind of not so good one. I was thinking it could either be kind of a low score like this, or else, like a blowout. But here we are. Not really any surprises here. The Rams defense is really solid. I was expecting them to kind of just shut out this, if we're being honest, pretty weak offense. So, yeah, no surprises there. I think this kind of is the end of the year for the Patriots, I feel, in terms of their potential playoff chase. So, not that it was likely anyways, but, So, yeah, well, now we'll just have to see what happens with the Rams, which that's a whole other guessing game in itself.
Congrats on your 20 points in fantasy in the playoff game that we're in. Oh, God, that was my biggest fear, was your defense getting 20 points. So, Brandon, I'll go to you. Where do you see the Rams in the NFC and in the playoff picture right now? Do you see them going far in the playoffs right now, or are you still a bit concerned about their inconsistencies as we are?
First off, I think I'm going to borrow a line from you, Robert, that you like to use so very often, and say, I learned absolutely nothing from the Rams in that game.
I actually learned a lot. But
well, I don't know how you learned a lot, but I learned absolutely nothing because it was yet again the same scenario that we see week after week. It's a Rams team that shows up sometimes. And honestly, it's a Rams team that should be doing stuff like this to the Patriots. Like, this Patriots team is not good.
It will be better next year.
But they are also a Patriots team that has been, overachieved at times and underachieved at times. And they're a Patriots team that nearly beat the Seahawks at the beginning of the year.
1 yard away.
1 yard away. But it's also a Patriots team that I think that was going up against the Seahawks that had it at its roughest in terms of defense at that point. So it's a game that didn't prove a ton to me. However, I think the Rams, if they end up playing up to their potential on defense, because God knows their offense is not the best part of their team. I think they could maybe make it to the. I don't think they're making it to the Super Bowl, but I think they could make it to the game before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the championship game.
I could see them making it to the championship if they play to their peak potential.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I still go back to the fact that the Seahawks only lost to them by 7 with their weakest defense. And
it's divisional play, ultimately.
I don't know if the Rams, it's going to come down. Honestly, it's going to come down to Seahawks and Rams. Who's able to win that game? So I don't know,
let me rephrase that. I didn't necessarily learn a lot, but I learned one really important thing for the Rams when they come to Super Bowl time or in the playoffs. They finally have a running game that makes sense with Cam Akers, and they need that.
Yeah,
I think that is massive because for Jared Goff to be successful, and Shane, you've mentioned this in our past shows about Todd Gurley and how important he was. If Cam Akers can become obviously not Todd Gurley, but at least a bell cow back for them, they are much better moving forward.
Because that's the thing. I mean, Goff is fine, but he's not in my opinion, I don't think he's enough. You know what I mean? Of course, he was, you know, part of the team that led them to the Super Bowl. So I'm not, I'm not going to take that away. But I mean, he's not. It's not like he's. I mean, even looking at, like the Seahawks within their division, right? It's like whenever there were those couple games where Carson and Hyde were out, and even like Wilson even struggled. It is important, and so I think this game did definitely show us that Cam Akers can be the other guy, which does help them tremendously. If they can continue to just be consistent on offense, I mean, yeah, I do think they win this division, and I do think that they can be pretty dangerous in the playoffs, and depending on who they play, of course. But I mean, I thought this would be. It's just funny because I thought that they would be declining this year after last year, but it seems like, if anything, they're bouncing back. So, just goes to show you never count out Sean McVay, right? But yeah.
He's truly proven himself to be one of the best coaches in this league.